Bullseye Marksman. Come train with us.
Hey friends, DJ, Bullseye Marksman Gun Club. I've got my Glock 44. Shoots 22 long rifle. And I put some tape on the front and rear sights to sort of eliminate me from being able to visually track the sights while I'm shooting. And I've got a target out there that I've flipped around and it's just all white. There's no particular spot to aim at. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fire 10 rounds at a time, but instead of worrying about thinking, watching, aligning the sights, that part of my senses that when I'm shooting sort of dominate, I'm going to put that aside. And I'm not going to be point shooting per se, but I'm not going to use the sights. I'm going to have a natural point of aim and let the gun relax to the center. My stance is not going to be rocking back and forth or the gun moving in any way. And if my stance, natural point of aim, my grip, and as I run the trigger more aggressively, if I can keep that focus together, I call it hold control, a steady hold control. As I press the trigger, my hand doesn't tighten and loosen as I break the shot, reset, break the shot, reset. So putting all that together instead of worrying about the sights allows me this ability to feel the gun a little more than usual and to focus on that part. That part of the shooting I think is actually as important or sometimes more important than the sights and the trigger. So I'll take 10 shots, and usually if I really push the speed, you'll start to see it elongate vertically or maybe in an elliptical pattern or something like that, or it'll just flat open up. So that just, this really helps you to become a better shooter, to learn to run the gun almost like music and a beat and a rhythm and a cadence and time it versus shooting like Morse code. Okay, there's something to learn from each piece of this. So I'm going to get a good stance, natural point of aim. I'm going to come out and fire 10 shots. I'm just going to go ahead and as fast as I can reasonably press the trigger. Okay, let's take a look. So that's about a, I would say a 5-inch group, about 5 inches, and they sort of strung like this. So if I think back to how I was feeling when I was shooting, I may have just been moving on the target, but I'm going to try to tighten that up. Let's go back out to 15 feet. And let me try to focus that more in. Now what I can do is slow the trigger down just a little bit, just a touch, and see if things start to come back together. All right, here we go. Remember, I don't have a sight picture. All right, let's take a look at that. That was a good, maybe a third of a second cadence. And look at this. I went from just that little change in the rhythm and keeping that steady rhythm brought all those together. I don't have them breaking into high-low or pushing down, rising up. See, that really brought me together. So in some sense, I can tune my shooting quite a bit. That's way faster than you're going to fire 10 rounds in a Glock match. Go back out for another one. Now, that time I focused more on the feel of the gun and less about what I was looking at. It's amazing how when you deprive yourself of the visual part, how much those other senses will come together. So let's see if we can keep that going. All right. Okay. At that time, I actually closed my eyes, if you'll believe me. I closed my eyes As soon as I fired, I closed my eyes as I fired the first shot, which was probably here. That's about where I had the gun when I fired the first shot. And then I closed my eyes and they're all right here. So that's not bad. That was interesting. Okay. Go back out for, see, I've got 2 more magazines. So what that tells me is there is a little bit of visual of the frame in reference to the sheet going on there with my eyes open. I'm a little more disoriented when I close my eyes, but that really proves that my shooting is working. Well, you know what? Let me try it with my eyes closed again, just for the hell of it. All right, here we go. All right, let's take a look. Sometimes I don't shoot that good with my eyes open with sights. All right, so all a learning tool here. So all this is good. I got one more. All right, so now back with the eyes open, just sort of generally keeping the gun on a spot, and then hopefully I'm going to finish up on a good one. All right. Now I'll slow down to Glock match speed. No sights, just alignment of the gun and the feel of the gun. Okay. Well, I still went too fast. Oh well. I guess I'm just having too much fun. All right, but you can see how that tightened up even more. Those were close to half a second per shot. Close to, so that was about a 5 seconds to get, 5 or 6 seconds probably to get that out. You can check the video and see what it is. But all of this helps me to have that feel and the whole control and a good solid stance and a stable platform for the gun. The hell with the sights. It's that stable platform and smooth rhythm of the trigger. That's what makes the gun rise and fall to the same spot. It makes it all come together. I hope you have fun with that and get out on the range and practice. We'll see you out there.
Bullseye marksman, come train with us.